May 11, 2023. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini 2000 tick chart on the NinjaTrader 8 platform. I think there was a couple of people, including myself, that had trouble logging on to NinjaTrader this morning. So I actually didn't get to start trading or successfully being able to even take a trade in NinjaTrader until about, I'd say about 7 o'clock. But I did look around on the Thinkorswim platform on their E-Futures 2000 tick chart, and I was able to keep track of what was going on there. So I took a total of 4 trades today. 3 were green, 1 was red. It was trade number 3, which is this guy, that ended up being red. Trade number 3 was a trade that shouldn't have happened. It was a fear of missing out FOMO late entry. I chased the setup when I really should just let it go. So it's kind of a foolish trade. And then trade number 4, it was kind of like a long shot second entry long, but I'll get to it I'll discuss it when I get to it, but I felt like it was worth a shot just because of the setup and how much potential it could have had. Prices mainly stayed in this gigantic trading range here. Within the trading range, you have a sub trading ranges overlapping, and I saw one big swing up, a sell-off, and then 2 legs back up. So it's kind of an interesting day. There weren't too many setups that I thought were safe or worth taking. And the only piece of economic data today was the core PPI producer price index that came out, as well as the unemployment claims that came out around 5:30 Pacific Standard, which is right here. Didn't really seem to move the market too much. Prices are already kind of coming down. So I would say the economic data, I don't think it was really a game changer or any crazy reaction today. It's definitely not like yesterday. So this is yesterday's price action. So I'm going to get into the trade. You don't have to watch the entire video. Just go down to the descriptions below. You can see where I actually took my trades and where I thought I saw setups. Now, just a disclaimer, where I thought I saw setups might not actually be valid because I'm still perfecting and learning my strategy as well. So proceed with caution. In the pre-market, this is the highs of the pre-market high and the pre-market low. They really didn't come into play because, as you can see, price is kind of just chopped around in its own little trading range down here. So let's get into it. The first trade I saw happened right at the first minute of the open. Now, keep in mind, I didn't have NinjaTrader up yet, so I was watching on the Thinkorswim platform, but I went back and marked it. I saw a second entry short. So right here. It's a new low here. First entry short, second entry short. It's a pretty good signal bar right here, even though it is bullish. It closed bullish, closed higher than it opened. And it almost touched the EMA, but it's close enough. But I didn't like that it was right at the open, just right after, like 15 seconds after the market opened, Pacific Standard, 6:30. I wanted something stronger, but it is going downtrend. So you'd be taking the trade with trend. But as I said, on the first minute of a trading day, there could be a lot of chop because a lot of people only trade the regular hours, and they might have their orders set up that execute right when the market opens. So the first couple of minutes could be quite choppy, a little bit unpredictable. And also here, I did see there was enough room to make it all the way down to the pre-market lows. But as I said, that's not a trade I was really going to take unless I saw a really great setup. Prices continue moving down. It breaks out of this trading range. Now, it breaks out of this, not trading range, but trend channel. And at one time, I was thinking maybe it was actually here. So it actually touched once. And when this setup occurred, you have a new low here, first entry short, second entry short. I had 2 clean legs up, just like this setup. The signal bar is a little too neutral for my taste, though, right here. And the downtrend seems like it has played out because if you kept it here, you don't really know that you're in a channel per se because you only had 1-2 touch confirmation. So I actually liked it better back here. So it's actually the first break. You're going to look for a new low. It found a new low, broke out again, made a second new low. So taking a short here felt a little risky because it looked like downtrend has played out and is potential to move back into the larger trading range. Now, in hindsight, if I had adjusted this way, you could say there's a break here and it could be looking for a new extreme down here. But as I said, you only have maybe 1 touch here, whereas my previous trend channel here had more confirmations, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just treated it this way. So I wasn't sure it was really going to come back down or not. So I ended up sitting on my hands, not taking this trade. Prices continue moving up, chops up, and then continues to chop left and right. Well, not left and right, but up and down. Goes into this long consolidated trading range. And here's where I kind of see a bunch of things happen. Okay, so right here, I see a new low here. Moves up. There's a first entry short, and you see a second entry short. So this is what I saw in real time. Second entry short. I said, okay, the second entry short is a pretty good signal bar. It's possibly a failed breakout of this trading range that I have drawn here. It's inside the bigger trading range from this not pre-market, but I ended up drawing this consolidated support here. I don't have this up here yet. It's actually a little bit lower. And I was thinking there's could be a potential breakout of this trading range, but I wasn't sure. And it was the first breakout of this shortened trend channel because it broke out. So it could either try to come back up and test the high. And I said, of all these into consideration, I should just wait and look for a confirmation. So confirmed lower high comes up here. So this is what's really kind of interesting here. Let's see. The lower high comes up here and is also a failed second entry long that's hidden. So how did I see that's a failed second entry long that's hidden? I saw a new high here. So first entry long comes up on this green candle. It breaks down below, then it closes back up. So it actually went first entry long, and inside this one candle, it went down and came back up second entry long. Then it failed on this candle here. So I saw it as a potential hidden second entry long. I don't think I would have, I mean, I saw it and I don't, pretty sure, and I didn't take this trade since it's more complex and subtle, but it confirmed the second entry long here failed, and it's second entry short, first entry short, second entry short, lower high on this guy, and also a failed second entry long that was hidden. So all those kind of made for a case to go ahead and take a short here. But it was also running into EMA, and all these kind of came into play, and I wasn't sure what I was looking at with more experience. I just marked it up just to kind of teach myself that this is kind of very interesting setup that happened here that I should just, well, just be aware of. The prices continue moving down. Excuse me. Prices continue moving down. I don't have this channel drawn yet, but I do see this potential failed second entry long. It's a new high here. Instead of a hidden one, I have a first entry long, pulls down, larger context, second entry long, and a potential failure. Now the failure, if you're going to take a short, you only have about this much room to the bottom here of this pre-market, not pre-market, but this larger trading range. It looked like a lot of prices were consolidating here before they bounced. So you do have just enough room to scalp out. And it's a pretty decent signal bar. And I thought it was a possible trade, but I just wasn't super sure. And I wanted a confirmation lower high. And I get my confirmation lower high right here. So I said, okay, first entry long, second entry long. I wasn't sure. It fails. I wanted a lower high shows up. So it confirms it failed second entry long. And it didn't make it back to the EMA, but I thought it was close enough. So it's hard to see, but my entry is actually right here, one tick below this guy. Prices moved down. Now I was able to get out. I just went for 1 point because it looked pretty choppy, and I wanted to make sure I got out with plenty of room before a potential bounce down here and a potential support line coming up here. And then prices continue chopping, goes up, now confirms the top of this, which is great. I'm thinking it might come down and confirm this bottom one. Chops, confirms it a second time, so now you have a clear bullish bias. Confirms again, comes down, and I see a new high, first entry long, potential second entry long forming here. It closed above the EMA, which is fine. It's a decent signal bar. And I tried to take this trade, but I wanted to see what the next candle was going to do. And I actually tried to enter on this candle. Once it kind of flashed up, I put my entry one tick above, but it never came back and picked me up. So that's kind of the consequences of being, I guess, looking for extra confirmation just to be super duper sure. So then prices continue moving. Chops down. I'm still waiting for it to come down and touch the bottom. On a bigger scale, it looks like it's one leg down, pull back, a second leg down, and made a measure move now. The prices continue chopping up. It comes back up and touches another time. So clearly it's having trouble coming back down. I'm not looking necessarily to short, and I'm only looking for opportunities to long. And I saw this setup. I saw a new low, first entry short, second entry short, and a potential fail breakout. But again, I'm not ready to just take a short yet. So even though the setup looks like it's there, this is not a really good signal bar, this green one. So even though it closed and it triggered, the trigger bar also closed kind of iffy. And I thought, well, there's a potential bounce off the top of this ascending channel, and there's already 6 strong green candles coming up. To take a short felt risky and felt counter trend to the entire bullish bias going up. So I decided go ahead and sit on my hands and skip this trade. I do get a lower high here, confirms the second entry short, but the bar is only 1 tick above the previous. So even though it is technically a lower high, I just felt like this could also be considered one big leg down. So I kind of left that alone. Prices continue moving up. It almost touches the top. It looks like it's falling into this trading range now. I have this support, this resistance drawn. I wasn't too sure where the resistance was at the bottom to create the trading range, but it was okay. I didn't need to know at that time. I saw this as a new high right here. First entry long, and I'm seeing a potential second entry long, but I also consider this a new low. So first entry short, second entry short. So second entry short has been confirmed on this candle. And a second entry long, this is a new high here, first entry long, second entry long, hasn't been confirmed yet. But I'm wondering if it's going to be a failed second entry short. Turns out it flashes up. I enter a little early. It's kind of aggressive, this trade, but it seems like the EMA is holding. And the thing was that there's not much room to the high of this, so it is kind of aggressive. So I really thought, okay, well, then I'm just going to be conservative with my trade and just kind of take 1 point again. And so I was able to scalp out with 1 point just barely before I potentially would have gotten stopped out of this candle. So this is kind of a more aggressive, more riskier trade for sure. Comes back down, confirms this 2 touches down the bottom now, pretty much 3 touches, 4 touches at the top. A 4th touch, a 3rd touch, depending on how you did your count down here. Prices continue moving up, breaks outside. I'm looking for a potential fail breakout. It fails, it breaks out, but I didn't really see a good clean setup. Comes back down. Now keep in mind that this top of this trading range, like the open of the day was right about here on regular trading hours, and it looked like prices were respecting it pretty well. So it's kind of where this top of this trading range was. So it's just keep that in mind. If it has a failed breakout here, but not enough for me to take a trade, comes back down, and I do see a second entry long here. So new high, first entry long, setting up for second entry long. So when I see this flash up and it's breaking out through here, this is kind of where I took my, I saw a potential trade here, and I shouldn't have taken this trade. Excuse me, actually this is mismarked. I didn't take this trade. This is, let me just clear that out. It actually isn't a, let me just delete that guy. There's no trade there, but I mean, there was a setup there. Setup there. It is kind of close to the top. It isn't the best signal bar, this one right here. It's so-so, but it was like getting close to potentially the fail breakout. So it is pushing higher. And I thought if I took that trade, it feels like you're buying toward the top. Oh, let me just check my notes. Let's see here. Ah, I know what happened. So it's a new high here, first entry long, second entry long. When this one flashed up, I was thinking that it bounced off this. It might be making, it broke out of the shortened trend channel and made 1 push up. It might be making a second push up. Now this trade has already gone without me. But I decided I wanted to take the trade anyways. So when it came back down, I thought I had an opportunity to quickly jump on, which was foolish. And I did jump on, but I chased it and I jumped on way, way too high. This is where I entered, and you could tell where the top of it is. So I entered at 41.30, 41.43. The top is 41.44.50. So I only have about 6 ticks to get out, which is not the best idea because I'm already trying to push to the highs already on a so-so setup. And as you can see, I end up getting stopped out, which wasn't a trade I should have taken in the first place. It was kind of a foolish trade, definitely FOMO. Prices continue chopping down. Prices move down. So actually this was a trade that I did take, but I took it late, which I should have just skipped and left alone. So I had 2 green trades and 1 red trade now. Prices end up chopping down. This is where I take my 4th and final trade. So when I saw this happening, I looked for any news event. There wasn't really any news event. Prices continued to move down very aggressively. And I saw a first entry long here. And although I saw a second entry long setting up here, I wasn't really playing the second entry long so much as I was looking for a big move down and potentially another big move back up, because this is already coming down close to the bottom of this trading range. So it's kind of a hunch trade. And it is a second entry long. It's the first close outside. And I'm thinking it might want to come back down and test, but there might be enough of a rebound effect to get at least 1 point out. So I take an entry 1 tick above right here. And then on the next candle, I was able to get out, and I was just happy for that 1 quick scalp profit just to see if this would work. And it kind of chops around. Now, I'll admit this isn't the best idea because the price has moved down. Usually when it breaks, it wants to go back and test. But I was thinking it was kind of maybe a symmetrical move might occur. Came down for no reason, especially on no news events, no economic data. It might flash back up, at least enough for a point. So that was kind of like a trade that I've seen, or a setup that I've seen in the past, and I thought it was worth taking just to see if it would work, especially when it was already coming close to the bottom of this trading range. But what kind of setup was it? I can't really honestly say it was a clean second entry, but that's what I labeled it as. Price continue, chops within this range, and it continues moving up. It's coming up, testing the top of this big range that we've been kind of playing in all day. Goes up. There's a first break. I want to see it go back up and test. It's the first push up, double top, comes back down. At this point, hits the EMA. I'm thinking it's too far now for this to try to come back up. But then this candle flashes up. I'm again watching. Hits this. It makes a quadruple top. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm thinking it's in a trading range now. Comes back down. I see a second entry short. First new low here, first entry short. Potential second entry short. I mean, I didn't label it yet, but I was just watching. It happens right here that this one is a pretty doji-ish candle, but it's also right at the top of the range. If this had been a bigger signal bar, I think I might have taken it, but it's also the first break of this consolidation. This, like these 4 candles, it first break up, then it failed immediately. So I thought there was a potential second entry short there, but not confident enough to take the trade. Then I also saw a lower high. This lower high kind of confirms the second entry short. Now, in a different context, I think I might have taken it, but it's coming right against the EMA. EMA doesn't really matter if it's going flat, but it's actually came back up, came back from the bottom, so it could be a bounce point. So I didn't think there's also that much room from here to here. There might be enough for a scalp, but it's kind of pushing my luck. So I decided to leave it alone. Turns out it would have worked. The prices continue chopping, and it kind of oscillates, and then it just kind of goes into the close. So those are my trades for today. I had first trade green, second trade green, first trade green, second trade green, third trade, which is right around here, was red. FOMO, should have left it alone trade, fourth trade green. So that's how I saw it today. It was kind of an interesting day. It wasn't too many setups. There were some big swings, but it was hard to find a good entry on them. So hopefully that was helpful.